Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to be talking about a little bit more on the PlayStation and Xbox really big exclusive kind of drama slash talk going on over here. We actually do have official statements from Xbox talk about games showing up on the PlayStation again, kind of their rough time dates, a few little statements on that, and just a lot of overall just talks of what's going to be happening with the Xbox microsystem and I guess ecosystem of games, think like Bethesda, Game Pass, and all of that, and kind of how PlayStation fans and PlayStation console owners are going to be kind of going in like being touched on with that. So we actually have some cool statements that was over from Gamescom that are now basically kind of making their way out there, and well, a lot of people want to go talk about it, especially now with more brand new news kind of floating around too, with like Lodi Bethesda, Starfield, and a few other things too as well. And also, really kind of quick note too as well, if any of you guys saw the brand new Dead Space stuff, there actually was an official conference slash like official live stream for the brand new Dead Space remake slash remaster. So very cool news for that one. I think a lot of people are excited for that one. It was also trending up on Twitter too as well. So you just kind of want to maybe bored, type that in the YouTube search engine later on, and maybe we'll kind of maybe go up a little bit more of that throughout the week if more information kind of comes on out for it. But the main thing I want to go talk about for this is on the Bethesda, Microsoft, PlayStation kind of acquisition. Well, more so not acquisition, more so like the actual game showing up on the consoles, how Game Pass is, and just all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's actually going to talk about. And I figured for a little bit of a late night relaxing video, this seems kind of good. So maybe one of you guys out there go and fall asleep to the video. I always like to do it myself. So if any of you guys are also brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 disc, digital console controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well. Link down below. Sign up for Weeble, deposit $100. You guys go get free stack and free money. Coinbase, you guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency. You guys go and get free Bitcoin. Those are always linked down below. And of course, like the video and give your thoughts and comments down below too as well. So, as we mentioned, we actually had some official statements. We have a lot of stuff to kind of go through. So let me just kind of dive on into it. So this is going to be more so in regards to Bethesda and Microsoft and their responses to actually having Bethesda games and also Xbox system games on the PlayStation 5, which these have actually been really big contention points because of course they're big competitors and they don't want to deal with all this. So even while we have actually quite a few quotes too, I think the quotes are probably the more important part for all of this. So one of the initial things is Bethesda and Microsoft respond to Starfield on PlayStation 5 questions. Because we also, I believe, had a lot of information floating around from Starfield, Bethesda's next AAA game coming out soon. We have tried to be clear as possible, not a timed exclusive. This is simply where the game is being made. So to kind of give you guys my first initial thoughts and everything I've read through, it does kind of seem like they're not against the idea of a Starfield ending up on PC, on PS5, etc. But at this current time, it's not like, hey, we're only going to have it for, a year or 2 years. If we decide to make it, if people out there want to go get it, if we can work a deal with Sony, we'll put it on there. But as of right now, we don't care. I think that's like the end all be all for that. But basically, Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda has ruffled some feathers because it means that at least some of the studio's games are now being Xbox properties, which makes sense. They paid like $8 billion for it. Makes sense. Leaving PlayStation behind. Bethesda's Pete Hines and Xbox Aaron Greenberg discussed this as part of Gamescom recently, and Hines started off by saying he doesn't actually have a good answer for PlayStation fans who are upset by the news. In the wake of Starfield being announced as an Xbox exclusive, Hines also acknowledged that I don't know if I would go to say as that you're done ever playing stuff on PlayStation, which is very nice. So, why does this matter? Let's talk about it. As we have a little bit of like, is this like Far Cry gameplay in behind, I guess, maybe for the article. This looks good at least, so you guys can enjoy this, I guess, as you're watching. So basically what they're kind of saying for all this is that they're not against PlayStation. And you guys even saw too as well with MLB The Show, PlayStation's not against Xbox. If they could go make some money on either side, they're kind of down with that. Like, basically, if you have a PlayStation game on Game Pass, which is still unlikely, but sometimes the deal could actually be made and done. Same thing, too, as well as we saw for MLB The Show, that did actually end up on Game Pass, and I'm sure both people probably profited, because why else would you spend money on that type of stuff unless there's a reason for it? So the fact that they're actually not opposed to actually having stuff on PlayStation is actually bigger news than we expect. Because a lot of people with the Bethesda acquisition just assume that that stuff was gone. Like, that was just done, so it's never going to come back, which would make sense if you pay billions of dollars for it. You probably want to go get at least some exclusivity on it. So I have no idea how to state this in a way when, I don't know. I don't know the answer. It doesn't exist. It's not like I know it and I just want to tell you. I just don't know. So you guys can maybe actually kind of even go and see too as well. I guess maybe there's even Deathloop too. I saw that. So basically when it comes to all this stuff, they're not opposed to it. They're not against it, which is really, really nice to go and see. Hines went on to point out that Bethesda fans on PlayStation consoles might not be shut out entirely from playing future titles from the studio. though it does seem clear that Xbox is getting parental treatment as would be expected in this type of situation, which once again, I'd be somewhat okay with that, because as long as they are at some point, maybe a year or two later, or whenever it gets released to PC, typically all these games are also released on PC in general. We haven't released too many pure Xbox Series X exclusives. Then maybe they can kind of branch into other stuff and kind of expand on it out. Because in theory, they actually, if they own Bethesda, aka Microsoft, they can still make money by having the games on PlayStation. It can be a win-win-win. People on PlayStation can spend the money, Bethesda gets the money from the sales. It's basically just another hosting thing for them to go and sell their games. It's like how some games end up on like 3 different platforms and they just try their best to sell as best they can everywhere. So it's kind of like, if you can dip into the Sony ecosystem and make some money, why not? Why would you not want to do that? So there are Xbox brands that exist on other platforms first and foremost. I think that's important to note. Minecraft didn't just stop existing on anything once Mojang got bought by Xbox, which is a very good point too as well. You can still play Minecraft on pretty much every platform. Hines said, it's a massively played game on all these other platforms. It's not a, sorry, you're never going to get to play anything by Bethesda again, which I think is smart. Like, why would you want to go and cut yourself off from PlayStation when you could just more so double dip it and make more money? You can get your initial wave where you're probably going to get the most sales and most cut of the sales because you're getting like purely into your own Xbox, bank account. And then maybe after like the hype kind of dies down, put it on Sony, they can kind of get the scraps, which is nothing wrong with that. Like, they can still make money on it. And I'm okay with it too, because with my PlayStation, I can play games too as well. So it's not a, sorry, you're never going to get to play a Bethesda game again. Though, of course, there are all going to probably be some games you won't be able to go play on PlayStation. Starfield, it was announced as a thing that's an Xbox exclusive, he said. I don't know if I would go as far to say you're done never playing stuff on PlayStation, but again, I don't know the answer to that right now. Bethesda's next big game, Deathloop, actually does also remain an exclusive to PlayStation and console, but it's also going to PC. But it's also because the publishing deal before the game was in place before Microsoft bought Bethesda. As for Greenberg, he said he's worried to even talk about the issue because of how mixed up things can get with his quotes. I want to be careful. I know it's a question people care a lot about. That's why we're even making this video on this. It's also a tricky one for us to answer because, frankly, it can get sensationalized on the internet. So posting on Twitter, Greenberg said Starfield is not a timed exclusive for Xbox. This is simply where the game is being made. So, and once again, it's made for Xbox. It could possibly be ported on over to the PlayStation as well, but it is an Xbox own IP with Bethesda, and they want to go make as much money as they can. You can see their quotes right here. As for Hines, he said people who thought he was suggesting Starfield could come to PS5 someday are grasping at straws. No, that's not what we're addressing, as they live the gift over there too. And that's what I'm saying, but I know how these game people work. Now, Starfield might be a little bit more of a pure Xbox game, but kind of goes and ties in with the Bethesda stuff, where like you give it 2 years, you give it 4 years, 5 years even, people change. Or sometimes, you're like, whatever, we just want the extra money, whatever, you just want to go and release more stuff, why not? Why not? And I'm sure this, like, everyone changes, CEOs change, executives change, it happens. So Greenberg mentioned that Microsoft acquisition for Bethesda was driven by a desire to beef up the company's first-party portfolio with an eye toward giving Xbox players the best experience, which I think is awesome. That's what Sony does with their own individual studios too as well. I think it's just smart, it's just business. That said, Greenberg did acknowledge that he is mindful and thoughtful about the way in which Microsoft's deal with Bethesda does go and affect all platforms, which I do also respect too as well. They're nice and mindful of it, and like, it's just nice. To that end, Greenberg reminded people that Microsoft's first-party games will also be released on PC and through the cloud, so PlayStation users could also play that way. I'm saying that same boat. I'll probably be playing a lot of these games on my Game Pass on my PC, which I love. That's why I always say that PS5 and then Xbox, or PS5, Switch, and then PC is the perfect triple whammy, or replace the PC with an Xbox. If you start to conceptualize down the road where cloud can go, it starts to not care about what platform. It just says, I'm an Xbox Game Pass cloud thing. You can stream me on a thing if you got a controller, which I love. That's why I always keep on saying the Xbox Game Cloud. It seems awesome. Indeed, Microsoft has already announced plans to create its own streaming stick for xCloud and to work with also TV manufacturers too as well. We covered that news a few days ago, which is huge. The days that needing to buy a dedicated game console might be coming to an end. Not yet. I'd still probably say we have a few more generations depending on how technology goes, but still, streaming is also just an option, not the end-all be-all. I also want to give a little bit of credit for Xbox that keeps them trying to go push things besides just consoles, PC, Game Pass, cloud, and handhelds. That said, Hines said he's a big believer in Xbox boss Phil Spencer's forward-looking vision that goes beyond the console. The whole idea of it, whether it's either an Xbox thing or a PlayStation thing, I'm not saying that's gone away, but it's a little bit too 1990s and 2000. It's a new era of gaming today being everywhere. So all these words together just make it seem awesome. I love it. That's why I'm so excited about Xbox. It's because I is moving away from this. We're trying to sell a box, and that's all we care about. We do care about that, but I think the vision there and the goals there are much bigger and more exciting. So a lot of interesting stuff. So it's kind of like, kind of even looks a lot of opinions on how the PlayStation may be affected all these games in the future, and also how PC and Game Pass and everything else that Xbox wants to go for. So kind of give me your thoughts. I think this is awesome. I do hope that this will open up more of an open window for games besides Starfield, or as well maybe like a year or two down the line, we can maybe see it ported on over. And I think the more like, I just want everyone to be able to go enjoy games, especially with how hard these consoles are to go and find. But give me your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well. Link down below. Sign up for that Weeble, sign up for that Coinbase, get that free money. And I'll see you guys up in the next video itself. Love you guys.